There's a reason why this is called the Festivus edition, because that Punk Roman thing was the airing of grievances. And it wasn't just, and Punk was every one of us that has an issue with Roman. Are you going to show up to work? Like, are we doing this? Hold up. You took 10 years off. Yeah, that was them. We're talking now, buddy.
You have finally
And he had a good
identified with
point.
yeah, you finally like CM Punk finally got through to you about something.
In World, two retired vets decided phone conversations about WWE storylines would make for a good podcast. Only one podcast dares to predict the future, where every move, every feud, every moment is overanalyzed. Grab your number 2 pencils. Get ready to step into the squared circle. This is your front row seat to the storylines as you wish they were written. Welcome to the If We Had the Pencil podcast. Here are your hosts, 4-time Drum Corps Associates World Champion Sean Green, and the keeper of the coveted 10mm socket of excellence, and 2-time small hometown local youth hockey organization champion, Matt Jackson.
Numerous. Welcome to another episode of If We Had the Pencil podcast. I'm your host, Sean Green, and with me as always, the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only Matt Jackson. Matt, how are you?
Good, man. Got through the cold snap, and now it's like 65 degrees. Thank goodness. Saturday into Sunday was absolutely brutal. My pipes just unfroze this morning.
This mountain air back here is screwing me up. So clouds pushed in and the weather and the temp went, and we had a couple of flurries, and then the sun came back out. It was like, oh no, we cool up here. Matt, did you turn the LEDs off on your seats? So for those at home that didn't, for whatever reason, watch SmackDown or Royal Rumble, like there's this whole controversy. Everybody's like, the arena's empty, and even Matt and I were talking about it offline, and like we realized, like, when they started putting the floodlights around, we're like, oh, they're not empty. It's just the way the seats are. And now you're getting reports at WWE, and they're like, nah, we ain't using those seats no more. So
yeah. They're going to take it out of the arena in LA. Was that SoFi Arena or whatever, where they had the...
Well, I don't know about SoFi, but I do know that, like, for
SoFi,
the build it at home stadium kit, they're probably not going to use them again.
No,
but
they tried. I mean, because it had the WWE logo, like
it was
up.
cool.
You had pointed that out, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." But
yeah, it was cool. It was just an optical illusion that made the seats look empty. I think because we were all expecting the LEDs to be like behind somebody's head or an aisle or whatever the case may be, and like we were like, "Oh, that is not the case." So, huzzah! No biggie. But folks, here's the game plan. We're going to blast through SmackDown. We're going to talk about Royal Rumble. Of course, we're going to talk about Royal Rumble. If you want to hear our in the moment reactions, though, go back, check out our live. We did a live watch along for Royal Rumble. Whew. That was 4 hours of greatness, suffering, tears, and a lot of, somebody may have let an expletive go and thrown his headset, but we're not going to talk about that yet. So we're going to go through SmackDown pretty quick because, as with most SmackDowns before a PLE, it's just kind of a setup show. They did have some good stuff, but overall, compared to the level of greatness that SmackDown's had lately, it was a little underperforming, but still a lot going on. So we kick off the show, and it's la-di-da-di, everybody comes out. Cody comes out, Sammy comes out, Jey Uso comes out, and Randy Orton comes out, and it's like, and we get this paint by numbers kind of, I'm going to win kind of stuff. And then we finally, Paul Heyman comes out, saves the whole segment, and bottom line up front, we get set up with a 4-on-4 match for the day between the Vision and those 4 members. So Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, Sami Zayn, and Jey Uso. Paul Heyman is a wizard. And that is all I have to say about this segment. Like, that guy can turn shit into sugar, like, and it is impressive.
And he makes it look easy, too.
Yeah, it just, whew. So, and like I said, folks, we're just going to blast through these because we want to get to the meat and the potatoes. All right, United States Championship Open Challenge. Ray Phoenix comes out. We have a nice little match there. It was pretty good. They're both kind of showing their wares, and yeah, good stuff. Like I said, it was a typical Carmelo Hayes match that we're getting used to now, where he just pumps great stuff, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, I like how he still does the open challenge, but it's time to him to have some dedicated feuds with people, one or two to really kind of get the hooks in and see what Carmelo Hayes has done. But he's another guy. He's upholding that recent legacy, that title of just being a solid in-ring worker, just like Ilya was and Sammy before him. Like once Sammy took that belt and they put the U.S. Open Challenge, it's definitely been a wrestler's belt. It's not a sports entertainer; it's a wrestler's belt. So Hayes is doing a great job in that role so far.
Oh, he is. And he's getting to show his wares. And we're seeing him match up with different wrestlers who are also getting to show their wares. Oh, good stuff, all in all. All right, so next, Judgment Day comes out, talk crap to Alexa and Charlotte, which, then they have their match where Charlotte and Alexa go over Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. Again, nothing to write home about. We're getting previews of the Power Ranger suits a little bit, because we are in Saudi for this SmackDown. But again, nothing epic, if you will.
Yeah. I just thought that they could have had Liv and Roxanne go over at the time, but after the shenanigans of this past weekend and last night, it really didn't matter who won this match. This was just to get the crowd hyped for the Rumble. So, yeah, it was a good match. A little slow-paced at times, but it was good.
Yep. So after that, we get the story.
How thrilled we are with, SmackDown. Maybe because there was another 6.5 hours of wrestling that came after it. So,
well, we even said in the moment, though, we were kind of like, all right, it's decent. It just wasn't, like I said, it wasn't up to their standard what they have set the last couple of weeks. But we did get some storytelling, so we get Axiom, and he's up against Johnny Gargano, because everything's about the mask. Cute little match, cute little setup, Gargano rips the mask off, Axiom gets his old mask back, puts that on, and goes for the win. So, nice little storytelling there, but again, it probably ends this feud, and then you start wondering, what are we going to do with Johnny Gargano? Tommaso Ciampa's gone now, so...
I heard a rumor he's actually in AEW. Did he show up or something on AEW?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yep, so I hope they find something for Johnny Wrestling, because he's just too good to not be a part of something.
Yeah, I do like the younger talents that are floating around, man. Okay, so we get the typical, you're gonna end your career, AJ Styles from Gunther. Do we really need to elaborate on that? No.
No.
I'm
I had my
calling it
notes
no.
AJ Styles came out, Gunther then came out, AJ challenged Gunther, Gunther left, pointless segment.
Yeah,
That was just so you get AJ on SmackDown one last time.
Yep. It was just canned.
Yep.
It is what it is. It's what you would expect.
They played it safe
after that,
on this whole show, too. This whole show, they played it safe. I think they didn't want anybody getting hurt. They didn't want to mess too much with ongoing storylines because, as we're going to see, a lot of stuff happened over the weekend. So this was a play it safe show, definitely.
It was for sure. All right, so after that, we get Ilya Dragunov and The Miz going at it, and surprise, surprise, Ilya Dragunov goes over. This looked good, though. I mean, I got no complaints about it.
No, me either. It was a fun little match. Miz always shows up, so it was good. I just want to see what they're going to do with Ilya going forward now.
So after that, we get the four faces of faces, Sammy, Jay, Cody, Randy against the Vision, and it all ends in a DQ when Drew McIntyre drops a Claymore on freaking Cody Rhodes. Thank you, Drew. So, yeah, no shit, right? It was okay, cool. And then the entire thing ends with Jacob Fatu getting his. So, all in all, like I said, it was an okay SmackDown, but Whew, we got some meat and potatoes to talk about.
We
Any
definitely
other
do.
takes about SmackDown? Because
No,
I
the
think
main
we
event.
just
You knew the main event was just going to be. It was just going to be more an event than a match, and an excuse for people to brawl and get everybody out there. I mean, it was
well,
fun.
I also think it's important to remember where they were. That is a big thing here because when they're in Saudi, Saudi is all about nostalgia. They just want to talk to people they know. They just want to, they just want to see those historic faces. Like you could wheel every wrestler out of the retirement home and they'd be like, awesome. So that's what they really want. So it's kind of a skewed audience. Like an American audience, a European audience, they appreciate like the occasional person come back, but we don't want the whole show built around, the old
I
folks
did
home.
notice. I did notice that the Saudis crowds did pop for guys like Javon Evans and Trick Williams. So I think guys that are really flashy because they like that. That's part of their culture. I think they like the new type of people that do that. But like someone like we'll say Gunther or maybe even Bronson Reed, they're not as passionate about them because they're not flashy. But the American European crowds, we like them because of what they can do. They like them for what they look like and how entertaining that they really are.
Yeah. Well, you know what was entertaining, Matt?
These
The
nuts.
women's eh, the women's Royal Rumble. Thank you, adolescent child.
Hey, it took me 10 months to get an opportunity to drop that in, so I've been waiting.
I've been waiting my whole life to get a D's nuts jokes in on my
Not
podcast.
really. It just
like,
actually it just popped in my head. So yeah, I did. I had a 12-year-old moment.
and
I'm
that's how we
talking
roll.
well, we're talking wrestling, so I'm back in adolescent mode as it is. So here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Women's Royal Rumble. Probably the best match of the night.
Yes.
I enjoyed it the most out of everything that went down. No complaints, really. Um, so we got little stuff. So we got like Charlotte and Lexa being the first two out, and they kind of tease like they're going to wrestle, but they really don't. That eventually ends with Charlotte accidentally eliminating, Alexa, but you know, and then going back to the nostalgia thing, we have the freaking Bella twins reunited. More on that later. But I think the biggest takeaway, especially in the women's match, was men's too. The young talent that got showcased. Now, I think when you have something this big, the IWC is always going to be split, right? Like you want your guy to go over. So it's like, a lot of complaints about like Obafemi getting eliminated by Brock Lesnar. There's a lot of complaints about this wrestler, that wrestler, blah, blah, blah. Look, there was only going to be one winner at the end of the day. Everybody got to show their stuff in both Rumble matches, but specifically in the women's match. So, like, really well done. Really well done. And honestly, star of the show, Sol Ruka, like, kind of runs the gambit a little bit. Tiffany Stratton was number 30. I think that was just there to protect her, a little bit coming off an injury. Lash Legend was just insanely dominant, so
Oh, she was great. Saw Ruka stood out. Kiana James. Real impressed with
yep,
Kiana James in the Rumble, and she came in at
that's
number 3. And I can look and see, but she was in there a while. She got eliminated
hold on.
after
I have the
Raquel
stat.
Rodriguez did. She eliminated her when she came in at number 17.
Hold on, look in here. So, by the way, WWE did a really good job of putting their times for how long they were in the rings. Charlotte Flair went 59:49. Alexa Bliss went 13. Oh, they got them in order of how they came in.
Hmm.
Um, Alexa Bliss went 13 minutes. Kiana James, 27 minutes.
Yeah,
And she came in at number 3. She got eliminated by Raquel Rodriguez.
but she
So,
just didn't she just didn't hang around for 27 minutes. Like she
no,
did a
no,
lot
she
of
actually
stuff.
did stuff, and it's the best I've seen of her since she's been up and about and doing her thing. So I was really, really impressed with her.
Her outfit,
So
she looked like a retro camping tablecloth or something, but it worked. She stood out. So, yeah, she was definitely one that I was like, we were talking during the watch along, really surprised and happy with how Kiana James was in that match. So, yeah, she got it. I put an asterisk by her name. She deserved it.
no, she did. And like we kind of noticed it in the moment, right? Like it was impressive to see how good she could do because we haven't really seen that. We've seen her kind of in quasi squash matches, everything else. So check this out. Lash Legend. Here is the people that Lash Legend eliminated. Jordan Grace, Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, Charlotte Flair, and Io Sky. She got eliminated by Rhea, and she was in there for 38 minutes 46 seconds.
Wow.
Pretty impressive for like Lash Legend. She had herself a day.
Yep. Yeah. She was fantastic. Uh, what I liked is how they a lot of times in Rumbles, you'll get some of your top stars in the first 10, and then you get a lot of them in the last 10. In the middle of the match, it's just kind of like it's like a potpourri of just whoever. You had they evened out when all the big stars came in throughout the match, so that was kind of
Well,
nice. Like Liv
it
Morgan
kind of
came.
foreshadowed.
Liv came in at what?
Liv
Well,
came in at number
number
14. She
14. Yep.
eliminated Natty, Raquel Rodriguez, and Tiffany
Yeah.
Stratton. And she won it. She was in the match for 43 minutes.
Yeah, unreal. Raquel comes in at 17. Um, Jordan Grace came in early, and I know she's new, but Nia Jax came in at 4. Becky Lynch coming in at number 9. Like, I would have thought they would have put Becky in the 20s. But you also knew that
She'll
Becky wasn't going to win the Rumble anyway.
no, she's doing God's work right now, and that's fine.
But I'm
But
just saying
no, I mean,
the order they put them in, like you didn't have to wait to get like a top performer. Like they mixed the talent really well in how they did the ordering.
there was a great level of effort put in for both to have the right people come in at the right time. It was very well thought out, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Right? Like there's reasons why certain stars were brought in when they were brought in. You bring Liv in, she runs long, it makes her win look credible. You know, some people you want to showcase, but you don't want, you know, this young star I'm trying to showcase versus this young star. It just was well done and it worked.
So
Yeah.
I'm not thrilled about Brie Bella being back and us having to endure the Bella twins. However, Nikki Bella's been back for what, 6 months or more,
About that.
and Bella's been
About
gone
that.
how long? Like 6 years.
Probably.
And Brie's like,
Yeah.
who was the better wrestler and who did better stuff Saturday night or Saturday afternoon? Brie by
It was hands
far.
down Brie.
Like
Brie
no
was
ring
phenomenal.
rust. Well, hubby must have been tossing her around in the gym, but she was like really good. And like there's Nikki botching and moving at the speed of slow. So yeah,
I know.
Nikki,
But
and yeah, we'll get into Monday night with the Bellas. We won't go on it too long though.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. And like I'm not gonna belabor the point. Like
Yeah,
it was a little disappointing that like we saw, it was like, wow, you've been back 6 months. You haven't been. It was just like, ooh, night and day. Like it
yeah.
was night and day. So all right. So after that,
Hey, do you think it was the
God.
right call putting Liv over?
Yeah, it had to be Liv or Raquel. I think that there's storyline there, but we'll talk about that more when we get to Raw. I think,
Absolutely.
All right, AJ Styles and Gunther. Um, all in all, great match. I think what I said about this night in the heat of the moment talking to you, talking to Nick, talking to Mikey, and everybody as we were kind of going through this was I like the PLE as a whole. I didn't like some of the outcomes. And this one in particular, I came to terms with it, but I will still stand by my statement that details matter, right? So, in WWE, sometimes when they have somebody in a submission hold and they pass out, it's either lift the arm and let it go floppy floppy once, or lift the arm and let it go floppy floppy 3 times. It's for the guy's career. Could we have done it 3 times so we know? Wouldn't that have been better build up anyways? Like, oh my God, is AJ out? Oh, 1. Okay, whoa, all right. Nah, he's now in the back of my head. If you do the 3 type, you're like, oh, 2. He's gonna lift his arm at the end of this one. 3. Boom, done. Gunther wins. No problems. But now when you just go, yep, he's out. Deuces. I gotta go to the bathroom. That's what it felt like.
And even the one that the ref did, he kind of like just slapped his arm up, like he didn't really hold it up and let it drop. He kind of like flung it, like it. I didn't like that. Like I said during when we were doing the watch along, it should have been AJ. The arm dropped twice. On the third drop, about halfway, you hold it there for a second, but then the arm fades away like he has nothing left. And then you ring the bell, and like AJ fought until the last second. It was anticlimactic, Sean. That's how they with the one drop.
Well,
and then
that's what I'm saying.
Guys like me that has grown up where it was always, the 3 arm drops. Because if you have the 3 arm drops, if you don't have it, then you don't have guys like Hogan and Dusty at like on the third drop holding it up and doing the finger and getting the crowd involved. Like that's why you have it. This one drop thing, a little bit of consistency would help. It's either 1 or it's 3, and explain it to the fans so we're not confused.
Yeah, it would just be nice for some consistency. Like I said, I've come to grips with it. I kind of thought AJ was going out. He kept his gloves with him. He hinted that he was going to drop his gloves, and then it was like, no, because he's done with WWE, but he'll go on to do like TNA and New Japan and whatever else, right? Like he's going to have his own little farewell tour, but he's going to swath across some organizations. So
no, but it was other than that, the match was really good. I like a lot of the pacing of the match. Gunther stepped it up to meet AJ's speed, but also AJ worked within Gunther's style. There was a lot of good give and take and cat and mouse in this match. It was a lot of fun. So other than the way that they actually ended the match, everything was really good. And AJ post match with acting like he was going to take the gloves off, but didn't, gives a clear sign that AJ's only done here.
Yep. No, like I said, well done. I'm fine with it. I'm a little disappointed that 2026 AJ retiring was 31 days. Like, I get it. Yes, technically I would have been fine with like mid-February. Like, can we just do that? But I also think
maybe AJ wanted that way because he saw all these new call-ups and he's like, hey, they can have my spot.
It could be. It could be, and it's fine. I mean, they've been kind of putting him in position to kind of get some love just organically without making a big deal out of it. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, we got the we got the Cena match, we got the Dragon League tag team run, 2 Gunther matches and some other stuff. So if you really look back into 25, he got featured pretty well, especially once he came back was around WrestleMania time frame. So he got some big matches. So I think he had a nice run the last year.
Yep. No, I agree. And I think we were getting the farewell tour without knowing we were getting the farewell tour. And like I said,
that's what it is.
I think the biggest problem is that like you say 2026 or you get 31 days in and you're like, deuces. And it's like, okay, like, a little bit more fanfare, please. Thought they would have gave it to a live audience, but and again, Saudis, they love AJ. They love the nostalgia meter. So
actually, that was when the crowd was most up the whole night. I think they were up for AJ more than they were Sammy. Actually,
I Did not see Sammy. What do you know? Guess what's up next?
I know.
Sammy and Drew. It's
That was
almost
my
like you knew it was
unintentional
coming.
segue. Yes.
Yeah. So,
Talk about doing God's work. Drew McIntyre.
whew, whew. I loved the ending of this match. Loved, 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 capital L, loved the ending of this match. And it was the storytelling inside of it. And it was the fact that at the very end, Drew hits the Claymore. Sammy's down. Drew thinks about going for the pin. He goes, nah, one more. I got to make sure he stays down. That was smart. So smart. So well done. And, it didn't make Sammy look bad, but can we just keep Sami Zayn out of the title picture? Please, please, pretty please, please, please.
I think so. I think this whole little Sammy world title opportunity run was just to get him to have a shot in Saudi. That's all it is, and I think he's going to go back and do something else. I mean, you're going
you
to
talk
see
to
him
the
every now and again.
conspiracy theorists, though, that was the test run. That's the test run for Mania next year. It is what it is, man.
I don't think the fans were as overly enamored with him as
They weren't.
I'm telling you,
It was very for
They were
him.
more crazy for AJ than anybody else. I think that whole show, except maybe when Roman won at the end.
Yeah, for him though, it was very subdued to past receptions. So it was, it was like, okay. And I mean, maybe people just see through it. There was a lot of pandering going on, and it was just kind of like gagging kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, I love the ending to this. This is where, so we had an example of where details kind of fell short. This is an opportunity for details going all the way, right? And I have to take up. So if you guys didn't, I did a guest spot on Nick's post show wrap up, and part of that conversation, well, later on, another caller towards the end was talking about how they disagreed with me that Drew is heel number one. They feel Gunther is, and I was like, it's like Gunther gets such visceral reactions, but I feel like Gunther's reactions aren't organic. I feel like I call them the barking seals, right? We kind of call them that on this pod, right? You know, are you really that into Roman Reigns, or do you just say OTC out of obligation? Are you really into CM Punk, or do you just chant his name because that's what everybody else is doing? And I think with Gunther too, which credit to him, but if you go, he gets such a louder reaction, it's like, well, they got nothing better to do with him, right? He doesn't give him much. About to be corrected a little bit when we talk about Raw, but I think that I still hold that Drew's heel number one because he's a menace. But he's the good kind of heel where there's like so much truth in what he says and the way he presents himself. And again, I love attention to detail. Like when he trolled Cody like a couple of weeks ago by putting a picture of him with the title belt in the freaking window of Cody's bus. Like, love it. That's details, man. And he really usually works in some details. It's, along the line. And I just love that he does that. And I don't think you can base a heel on just on the reaction the crowds get. That's like 80%.
I was going to say, because Drew is not even near the most hated heel in WWE. I would even say Dom is. I think Gunther's hated more than Drew, but Drew, the complete package, his promos, his look, his mannerisms, and even his wrestling style, he's just the best heel they got. He is. Drew, just the whole thing he does, and the fact that a lot of his stuff is based on reality, and now he's using social media, and every now and again he's an ally to Paul Heyman as needed, however rare it is. Like Drew's just kind of got it all. And also now he's like a big part with Nick Aldis in the GM business and vignettes with pulling backstage clout, like in his house, to get what he wanted, the unsafe work environment. So, yeah, Gunther might be more hated, and Dom is definitely more hated, and I'm pretty sure, like,
But
Nia Jax is
Dom,
hated more, but Drew is heel number one in the company.
Dom and Drew have the same problem, right? Not in a bad way. So you get the visceral reaction for Gunther, probably rightfully so. But Drew, as well as Dom, are in that stage of being heels where it's cool to
Yep.
like the heel,
Yep.
right? Like Gunther, this goes back to the connection problem with Gunther, I believe. And like Gunther does have an audience connection problem, right? Like I feel like the reactions to Gunther are more just, like I said, barking seals, right? They're just, boo, you're a bad guy. Whereas like it's kind of cool to be Drew, or to like Drew. It's kind of cool to like Dom, right? Like it's like I know they're the bad guy, but they're so cool. You know what I mean? And that's really what WWE, a lot of the WWE heel, oh, good God, I can't talk tonight. That's what a lot of the WWE heels were kind of built on, right? Like even Roman was, it was cool to like Roman, right? And you knew he was a heel. You knew Roman was a bad guy. You knew he was an ass, but it was cool. And I think that when you look at the heels, especially Drew and Dom, it's cool to be down with those heels. Whereas, like I said, I don't feel like, nobody's running out and getting Gunther shirts, right? Like, oh my God, I just love when Gunther's on my TV screen, other than you. But, whereas like Drew, it's just like, oh,
Oh, so I'm the only Gunther fan in the world. That's what you're saying.
only one. No, there's a lot of guys out there, but I think it's real easy to conflate. Gunther's in-ring is without question. Without question. It's his out of the ring stuff that kind of leaves him short, right? Like, but
I'll
he's
agree.
getting better. He is getting better.
We're going
As
to
we
talk
found out
about it.
on Raw, we definitely are. So, like, yeah, for sure. And I don't want to make this into a beat up on Gunther thing, but I think it's important to differentiate that because there's the complete package heel, and then there's the guy you just don't like. Gunther right now is the guy you just don't like. Whereas the complete package is the heel that does heel things, and you feel like he's doing heel things. What has Gunther really done that's heelish other than kind of gloat, right? Gunther gloats for sure, but he doesn't really do anything heelish, right? So, like, his in-ring is
until
clean.
last night. Oh my God.
Yeah. But again, well, that was heel 101. So, like, that was totally healed 101.
I'm going to call that about frickin' time.
Yeah, no kidding.
But we'll get into that when
right.
we cover Raw.
Yep, for sure. That's why I'm kind of chugging along here. If you
know,
want to hear, like I said,
noticed something. Yep, during the watch along, you said, Matt, look at bottom left corner of the picture. I'm like, yeah, Gunther. Nice
picked
subtle
up on
way
it.
of, nice little Easter egg they threw in there.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of us were thinking about it. So Men's Rumble kicks off very bizarrely. Obafemi's numero uno. Number 2 is Braun Breaker. We get a nice little, we get little tasters here and there, like Heyman digging into
Pierce.
Whew, I'll get there. Him digging into Pierce because, like, Braun Breaker's number 2 and blah, blah, blah. Like, first off, the Paul Heyman, Adam Pierce stuff is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I'm loving all of it.
Top-notch.
Like, it's some of my favorite stuff. So tell me if you heard this before. Some random hooded guy came out and stomped Braun Breaker and jacked him all up. And then when he tried to get in the ring, Obafemi eliminated him. Right out the back. He was only in for 10 seconds. We'll see.
No.
We'll see. I don't want to go down. I don't think so. I think there's more to the story. So, like, I don't think you make that Austin Theory. Right. But you know, so again, just like the women's, the young talent shined. We got, we found out Powerhouse Hobbs is with WWE. He changed his name now. I can't think of his name. Oh, Royce Keys.
Keys,
So
yep.
Royce, anybody complaining about this name, this is the name he chose. Royce is his son's name. Keys is his passed away mother's maiden name. So can we just leave it at that and let him roll? We don't need Powerhouse Hobbs, blah, 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 blah. It sounds like it has a sentimental meaning to him, and I'm all for it.
And Powerhouse Hobbs just doesn't sound like it sounds like a Vincey cartoonish character. Having Royce
And
Keys sounds more of a legit working name.
as opposed to El Grande Americano and the original El Grande Americano. We finally got our Spider-Man moment.
I know you were so happy.
I had fun. Like, it was so funny. Like, it's so funny watching people's reactions, like, in the IWC, because, like, people shit over everything and just cannot enjoy the ride. And it gets frustrating at times. So, like, a lot of complaints about, La Parka being in there. And, it's like, well, yeah, like, and Mr. Iguana. And they're like, they took up spots from people. Like, they're entertaining.
Well, also, there's a business reason behind it because WWE TKO bought Triple R.
AAA.
Yeah, so they don't you if you bought a company that you want to promote, that's not a bad way to do it. Even if the Saudi crowd, whether they're big or not, you still have the viewing audience on ESPN and worldwide. So yeah, you're promoting your brand.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest one to take away out of all this. Like, WWE is an international brand. And, like, the La Parkas of the world, and not La Parka, that was a throwback for me. So I'll full on admit that. Mr. Iguana always gets some love.
Yeah. It wasn't like they threw somebody like the Bushwhackers out there, So it made sense. It was good.
No, it was something a little different and a little nice. Royal Rumbles traditionally always have a little bit of cartoonish moments in them. I mean, granted, you got that with the original Americano and, the best El Grande Americano, so, like, a lot of stuff went in there, and just, man, there was so much good stuff in this. The pacing, like, a little bit of it wasn't as good, but it did what it needed to. Like, Obafemi was in there raking shop, and, like,
the vision working together until a returning LA Knight eliminates, Theory, and I think it was Theory and Reed.
Let us take a look.
I think I got it somewhere written down.
I have all of this. All right.
Yeah, no. He eliminated Theory and Reed. Yep. Because Logan Paul ended up in the final four. So it was good
Logan
to see
Paul.
LA Knight back. They threw LA Knight right back in the heavy mix, didn't they?
They most certainly have. He has definitely got a little bit of a firecracker up his keister, like, but
that crowd went nuts when LA Knight came out. That was another huge pop. Guess the Saudi crowds like them some LA Knight.
Yeah, I think that, so Roman comes out at 26. Jey Uso tried the run it back thing, and he got clobbered by Roman for that.
That's my all right. Other than when we're going to talk about who won or how it ended, that was really my only really major grief with the Royal Rumble match was Jay taking like 2 minutes to come down through the crowd, and then like in the middle of a match where someone just has to throw you out of the ring, like, oh, it's sing and dance time. Like, it's just stupid. It really is. It makes no sense. It annoyed us when he did it at Survivor Series, and then this is just like
it's just in such stupid moments. Like, if you're coming out to cut a promo run it back all you want. If you're in the middle of like a multi-person match, like what the hell are we doing? Like honestly.
That'd be like us in the middle of combat back when we were in the military, like stopping it so we could run it back one more time. Get the Come on, Taliban, you guys can eat yeet too.
Yeah.
That ain't
Just
happening.
so bad. But let's talk about the final four. So the final four we get is Logan Paul, Randy Orton, Gunther, and Roman Reigns. So when so we were talking during the live, and this is part of the reason, folks, we're not like deep diving, because there's a whole 4 hours of content you can go check out on our YouTube page where Matt and I, you can hear me piss, moan, and gripe all in real time. So we get down to the final four, and I'm like, there's only 2 out of the 4 that I can make legitimate stories for, right? Like Logan Paul, I can make a story for. You know, Randy Orton, easy peasy lemon squeezy. You know, I can make a story for. And then we get half broke down Gunther, from his match, and Roman Reigns. Now, after all this was said and done, the one thing I said was the one person that should be pissed is Finn Balor. I don't give a crap that Gunther declared. The point is, you gave Gunther 2 matches and you couldn't get Finn in for 1, right? Like a lot of the hate towards La Parka and, Mr. Iguana was, well, you could have put Finn there. And it's like, no, not really. Unfortunately, when we get into Raw, we'll talk about Finn. But so Rhodes gets eliminated. Logan Paul gets eliminated. My headset goes flying. I let out an expletive that could have probably been heard on my entire floor of the hotel.
Outstanding.
Because now it's down to Gunther and Roman. Roman ends up going over, and my first visceral reaction is, why? Why? Like, why would you make that call? And it's a little bit ironic that the dude that ran around and talks about not building up younger talent and blah, 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 he still finds a way to go over. He redeems himself on Monday night a little bit, but my biggest problem is like, I'll accept it if he shows up to work. Is this, we'll get it. I'll save it for Raw, but that was my main visceral reaction to it was, is he going to show up to work? That.
Yep. We talked at length about that, and I made a comment like, well, maybe he is, and then I got laughed out of the chat room. And I had to go take a walk of shame. I was only trying to be an optimist. Do I think Roman's going to be there every week? Dude, if he's there like every week, I will be like blown away. It'll be like,
if he's there every other week, I'll be blown away.
Yeah. So
like there, not video package there.
Yes, I know.
That's the
what
thing.
I mean. Live and in person. But again, a lot of good stuff in this Rumble match. Drew coming in to eliminate Cody Rhodes was fantastic. Sean and I, during the watch along, were showering blessings upon Drew McIntyre for taking out Cody. Yeah, this. I just hope they don't have Cody go over Drew down the line. Like, don't.
I don't even want Cody near the title right now.
No.
I didn't want Roman near the title. I'll be honest with you. I get it. Because
aren't they filming another? They're doing Expendables, right? It isn't Cody and Roman in the new Expendables. I heard.
I have no clue.
I heard a rumor about that, but you know what? And that's the thing that sucks is like you see something like half the times it could be like AI, and it's so freaking annoying because people just put this bullshit AI stuff on that is like really believable. It could make sense, and then you're trying to find the internet, but your AI's all infiltrated that. It's annoying, but I digress.
Yep. No, yeah. It's we're in a wait and see. We're in a wait and see. I'm not gonna jump off the ledge. I'm not gonna like lose my mind about it. I'm just gonna we'll wait and see. We'll see how it goes.
I kind of told you that night, like, oh, let's just be patient. Let's see how it goes. because Roman Punk is a big money match. That's a money match.
I know that. I'll get into it when we get into Raw. We're here to talk about Rumble because it's only fair to give my reactions of what Rumble was
Right.
before I, get into Raw. I want people to know where I stood, and where I stood was I was in the Y category. I was pissed because I also think it's crap. He didn't declare by himself. They just did a video package, and I was hard on him. I admit it, because I think if he would have shut his mouth and not run shade on TV, I think I'm not even near having the case of the ass about it, to be honest.
I tell you, we haven't even talked about him, but Trick Williams was great.
Preach.
Yeah.
Whoop that Trick. Love me some Trick Williams.
Talking smack the whole time, too. He just, you said that on
I
the
love
previous
Trick
pod,
Williams.
like,
So good.
He is. While he's beating people up, he's just going to talk. He's like Larry Bird. I'm going to beat you and I'm going to talk trash doing it the whole time.
I love Trick Williams so much. He makes me laugh.
I like the fact, too, like he left his fur coat on for a minute just so he could put a whooping on some people. And then when it was the right time, it was.
He's going to be special, dude. I'm telling you, he's going to be special.
So we had negative attitudes go last week, and a couple people called us out on stuff over the shorts. So we did. We kind of had a negative outlook coming into last weekend. This show, I was pleasantly surprised.
Let's clarify that statement just for a minute, right?
Sean,
you
was saying this could be like one of the worst Rumbles. You think it's going to suck.
But let's put it, there was a context in the conversation. Like, I pretty much talked myself into it. And I think that's really where we're...
Yeah, I think so.
Where I kind of was like, oh my God, they're going to do this. Oh my God, they're going to do this. And, and those things that I worried about, they didn't, some of the things I Sammy going over was a big one that sent me on my spiral, right? I wasn't thrilled about AJ losing. I'm okay now. I don't care.
You mean Roman going over?
No. AJ losing to Gunther was the start. And then Sammy was going to win. And I was just oh my God, it would be the worst Rumble ever.
That's right.
And I didn't mean it but my point is that contextually, God, old man rant time. But a lot of the times when we're in a dialogue like this and you take a snippet of our conversation, it can be taken out of context. I didn't have tons of high hopes because I really did think they were going to book it like shit. I really did. I really, really was concerned they were going to book it like crap. And honestly, they gave me 50% of the outcomes I really didn't want. I'll be honest. I didn't want AJ to lose. I thought it would have done more for Gunther if he lost and slipped, and then you run it back and retire AJ. I really think that because you have now turned Gunther into the fact that he can't lose credibly anymore. Who's he lose to, Matt?
We're talking WWE level, but he hasn't faced Braun Breaker yet. He hasn't faced Bronson Reed yet. But Femi's down the line. I don't think we've seen a Gunther Drew on main roster yet.
But now he's the career killer, and now he's this, that, and the other. And the problem is you have now booked yourself
in between that. You have to do something with him. You just can't all right, random dude in the roster. You're getting old. Mm-hmm. You're next. Or we're not going to renew your contract. Yeah, you're next. No.
And that's the problem. You've kind of booked him into a corner, because if he loses to anybody other than the tippity top stars, it looks ugly.
Mm-hmm.
When you got losses to Sami Zayn and freaking Jey Uso on your freaking bingo card, that doesn't look too hot. Just saying. It's really hard to come to terms with that. When you're out there beating John Cena and AJ Styles. Very hard to reconcile that.
No, I'm not going to deny that. They got to find a way to make it happen.
I know, and I'll give them hope because they reeled it in. So let's get into Raw, man. So we kick off, and we have a very grouchy and upset Braun Breaker. And we're followed up by LA Knight with chairs and fun, which eventually leads to LA Knight being sent home for the night because Adam Pearce just doesn't let those kind of shenanigans go on. It's like, okay. Like I said, I love the whole Adam Pearce, Paul Heyman Vision story. I love it.
We might have seen a record Monday night for the fastest time into a show that the announcing table got wrecked.
Well, they went right for it, man.
Yeah, they
it was
did.
just like,
He
nope.
Yeah. And then the fact he was threatening Corey Graves and then Michael Cole and Paul and the other guys couldn't even control him. It was excellent. And Paul just rattled it off again like he was in God mode last night, as usual. I think there's something about Paul being back in Philly. I think it brings a little something out of him because he was on last night.
Well, he was definitely on. But after that, we get Javon Evans and El Grande Americano. The good one, not the original. One of the rare times where the remake is better than the original. So Javon did great selling his injury. You know, this worked for me. It was a nice little match, man. I'll watch Javon wrestle all day, every day. So
yeah, boy, for a young kid, he knows how to work. And it's not just all the flippity flop, like he said, selling
yes,
his Royal Rumble. Even like when he was walking to the ring and a fan was like, he was laying back against a fan, the fan's hugging him. He's like, "Oh, I'm still sore, like easy." Like you could actually tell him like he's still sore. I like how he plays that, and then
he was the Iron Man for the men's match. He was the Iron Man for the men's match.
It wasn't Oba? Because I know Oba did 39.
No. To the ticker. All right. So, sorry. Got to get it pulled up here.
Evans
all right.
came out at number 8. Oba came out number 1.
Obafemi went 39.04. Javon Evans went 40.58. So not far behind.
Yeah, no.
But Obafemi eliminated Braun Breaker. All right. Shenanigans. Rusev, Solo Sikoa, Rey Mysterio, and Matt Cardona.
Yeah, he had a productive night.
I think he was tied for most eliminations, and for the men, Javon went the longest.
Wow. So cool on Javon.
Yeah, and Javon probably would have had more time on the clock, but they started playing really silly games with letting people come out. Like, it was 45 seconds. It was like,
yeah.
Whoa, dude.
The men's Royal Rumble.
It was less than an hour.
It was actually.
I saw a stat today that Charlotte Flair.
It was 8.5 minutes shorter than the women's match.
What was it? I think, if I'm not mistaken, yep. The Charlotte Flair was in the ring for 59.49, the women's Royal Rumble. The men's didn't even go that long.
No, I had the men's Royal Rumble at 58.18.
Crazy stats, dude. Crazy. You know, but no, it's really, you know, but yeah, Javon was the Iron Man for them, and good on him. And Oba wasn't far behind either.
No. And then, of course, we get the, what are they calling him? Gable now? The original Americano?
The original Grande Americano.
Yeah, which says to me that Gable's not going to be wearing that mask that much longer.
There's going to be a mask for mask match, and Kaiser's going to go over because he is so much better. I mean, the gimmick was kind of corny and funny. Gable did it. Like, Kaiser turned it into a legit thing where, like, you kind of appreciate it. And, like, I think I like it a little more with him because Chad Gable, by his nature, is goofy, right? Like, he's just goofy. Whereas, like, El Grande Americano, or Ludwig Kaiser's version of El Grande Americano, like, introduces this pompousness on top of the cartoonishness of El Grande Americano. And it's like, I love it so much. So much.
The fact that he can speak Spanish fluently is a big plus.
Yeah, it's impressive when, like, I see him on AAA and he cuts a promo here and there, and you can, you know, it's not like he's, you know, like the old SOCKS, That's what it is. You know, like, it's none of that shit. It's like legit.
Yeah. Or me reading my Spanish textbook.
So after all this, AJ Styles music hits and out comes Gunther doing the whole bit.
Did you think AJ was coming out for a split second? Did you think he was coming out to do like a farewell speech? Okay, because it got me too.
I didn't think it was going to be, well, maybe a little bit of a speech. It was an American crowd. So I thought maybe you bring him back out to start saying something like, and then you have Gunther interrupt and be like, why are you here? You're retired now. Go away. Shoo. This is my ring now. You know, something to that effect, right? And, you know, which probably would have been a better way to go about it, because then you're going to get more heat on Gunther. And I mean, look, what Gunther did with, like I said, it's heel 101, right? Like, come out to the other guy's music and laugh at everybody because they thought he was coming out. Like, that's heel 101, and it's great and it works. I think what he said, where it wasn't just about ending careers, it was about ending legacies and all this and that. That made a big difference, because that's probably, it sounds a hell of a lot better than I made him tap out because he's a little bitch.
And I like the fact that he actually spoke Austrian.
Yeah.
Or German, or whatever he speaks. Like that nice little touch where he just starts barking in his native language. I love it when foreign heels do that.
Yeah. And I think there's a reason why this episode is called the Festivus edition, right? And the reason that it is this whole episode of Raw was about the airing of grievances, and not just the wrestlers on the screen. It was like us, you know, in our little chat groups and stuff like that, having conversations too, because it was like, oh my God, we finally got something of substance out of Gunther, right? Like, it was a big effing deal.
I was really pleased with that. This new, what I hope this isn't a 1 week and done, and next week we're back to Gunther being, I made Cena tap out like a bitch and AJ pass out like don't say that anymore. Like,
we
what
want
we saw last
substance.
Night, like you were like, oh, goody, like they put Career Killer on the Jumbotron. But if you can get away with it now, if you work with Gunther the way he was working last night.
For sure. And then, you know, Dragon Lee comes out and he basically gets choked the F out, you know. The wonderful security comes out to try to save the day, and whoo. Yeah, they're on it, man. Referees, security, everybody. But yeah, Dragon Lee gets a good little choke out. So, no, all in all,
they make Paul Blart look like the best security officer ever.
Yes. All right, so after that, we get
scooters. Give them scooters.
We get the War Raiders jobbing to Obafemi.
It wasn't even a match, dude. It was just.
I'm gonna say, for the record,
I think it was just a slaughter.
It apparently had enough to have a 2-minute 9-second clip on WWE's site, but I'm gonna say that we get it. He's big and bad. We get it. We saw it at Rumble. He got eliminations. It took Brock Lesnar to get him out of the ring. We get it. You know, like, let's not belabor this point, because we got it. He's a monster.
Well, you know what? Not everybody's willing to switch to Hulu or shill out $30 for ESPN. So for those who missed the Rumble,
they've been booking that dude like a monster. Like, well, it's fine.
It was no harm, no foul. It's just another added feature. Like, now he beat 2 men. But I mean, he's huge. Like, you put him next to a big guy, he is huge.
All right. So, Matt.
Yes.
So, you remember how I was thrilled that, like, Alexa and Charlotte were in the mix for the women's tag titles, and I was very happy that the women's tag titles they're finally getting their moment, right? They're not just some cursed set of belts that everybody gets injured for and disappear for. Well, it's attracted the wrong crowd. The Bellas have returned. Now, they returned at Royal Rumble, but now they're in the women's tag division. Goody. We'll get those epic matchups like the Bellas versus Lyra and Bailey. And then we get to experience Kabuki Warriors. maybe, and
If-
Bella twins. You know what I mean? It's just like, ugh. And look,
and the
to your
promo.
point,
And again, we gave props to Brie for her Royal Rumble performance, but that promo last night, I mean, they were like chasing the hug, like so bad. They're like
yeah,
they're
it's
almost out there like, please love us. And I guess now Nikki's decided that she's not a heel anymore. Like all that stuff with Stephanie never happened.
light
Sis,
switch.
sis is here. Now I'm like now I can
She
act
showed
like
me
I'm
the error of my ways.
yeah, whatever. Please.
All right.
It's the whole segment sucked and the crowd. First of all, if you're gonna bring the Bellas back, I would not do it in Philly.
No,
Philly wrestling fans, they don't buy that shit. They crapped
it
all
was
over. It was like the ladies and like the preteen girls and all that stuff liked it, and maybe a couple other people, but other than that, people just like, all right, let's go get popcorn. Let's get
it was rough. All right. So after
a
that, we get
craptastically bad promo.
it was shit. All right. So Penta
Swear jars,
and
folks.
Bronson Reed squared off. Penta and Bronson Reed squared off. Really fun match. Hey, this
They mashed
match
up to good together.
This match actually I think people forget how good Bronson Reed really is. And I think it's because he's a big guy, right? Like, it's hard to see Pat. By the way, it was pointed out to me that, like, he's lost weight. But anywho, yeah, it's really hard to, it's real easy to not realize because he's a big guy how good he is. And he is really effing good. So, long story short, LA Knight's all about screwing up the vision. He BFTs Bronson Reed onto a chair. Bronson's like a little woozy, and he gets counted out. Can't get to the ring in time, thus ruining everybody's day. Which means right now I see Adam Pearce building his anti-vision team, and we already know two of the members, which is Penta and it's LA Knight. And LA Knight is the king of the anti-vision club, which sucks because I like the Vision. Like, I didn't know who to root for in that match. I was like, I like them both. I don't want to root against either of them. So
No, you were texting me that last night, like, who to go for?
I don't know what to do with my hands, man. Like,
and I like the count out too, because Penta gets a win over a top guy in the Vision, prolongs the story. Doesn't hurt Reed to take a count out loss, especially when you get a blunt force trauma on a chair. It was really done well. Before that, they had a really cool video with Finn Balor. He did a video promo.
I love it.
It answered everything we were talking about. Like, he didn't come out and say I'm pissed off because but he talked about it and he directed his feelings towards Adam Pearce, and he feels like he's not respected, and I'm not a bad guy, he says, but I'm willing to do bad things. So I thought it was well done, really well done package, and it makes it fit. I mean, I think it keeps Finn really relevant in the world title picture.
It does, but there's no. This is the blessing and the curse of Roman Reigns, and I'm going to put it on him. When Roman's involved, once it's set in motion, it's not going to change, right? And the problem is now any match between now and Mania, we all know the outcome of every CM Punk match, one-on-one. No matter who he wrestles, no matter how it goes down, we know the answer to the question.
Unless they do like a quick drop and a flip back, but that makes no sense. Because then it makes Punk look weak going into WrestleMania if he drops the Finn and wins it back 2 weeks
and
later.
That's the blessing and the curse.
Yep.
And, especially with those two, that's the cash grab, without a doubt. And you just know it. So, anywho, Liv Morgan comes out. Dom comes out. We get to see Dom. And then Raquel Rodriguez comes out, basically drops the WTF on Liv Morgan for eliminating her. We're all going for gold. So you can already kind of see the writing on that wall. This leads to the match with Stephanie Vakir And in the Philly street fight that really wasn't a street fight and was more no DQs, like, that was my only gripe with it. They never left the area. There was no street. It was just like beating on each other with a ton of crap. And there was some less than stellar moments, but all in all, fun little match. Did the job. I was actually shocked that Fakir went over. And I think the reason is everybody thought Rodriguez was going to go over to create this infighting in the Judgment Day. I have a gut feeling that says this is going to get ran back and we're going to get that. And we'll go from there. So, but yeah, it was interesting.
After the match, I mean, Raquel barely left the ring and Liv's holding up the title and saying it's hers. Like,
yeah,
but that's Liv.
On top of that,
self-centered. She doesn't. Does she really care about Raquel Rodriguez? No. Morgan cares about Liv Morgan.
Yeah, I know. I think eventually it's going to be Liv and Dom out on their own.
Yep.
I think that they're going to alienate themselves to the point, and it does make me wonder if I wonder if Punk and Finn run it back one more time at Chamber. Dom talks shit. Like, you could have won the title, which eventually leads to Dom Finn for the IC. And Finn goes over because if we make Finn into what Finn Balor can be, which is awesome, then him and Dom, it makes it credible when Dom drops the belt and drops it to Finn.
Right.
And then
I don't want Finn winning the world title. Like, they shouldn't have him do it now anyway, because his main focus is going to be Dom.
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter now because we already know every outcome was CM Punk.
Right.
And that's the bitch of it. Like I said, the Roman problem is a double-edged sword. You get your big money match, but you've negated every match between now and then. Nobody thinks Punk is going to lose between now and Mania now. He's locked in. So, unless we're making it a triple threat somehow, but meh. Okay, the elephant in the room. The Absolute Fakir maintains. They changed her theme song for some unknown, ungodly reason, by the way. What are you doing? I like the original. The other one
better. Yeah.
Sometimes you don't need to change stuff that works.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Roman comes out. Roman kind of plays with the crowd a little bit. I was like, is he trying to be a face? Like, he's empathizing with Philadelphia, and it's like, you should hate that place. It should have It was such a conflicting promo from him, which really made it awkward at first, because it was like, all right, you're playing with the Philly crowd, but you don't like Philly
But Philly's a heel town, kind of.
But he was playing with them, though. That's the problem, right? Like, if they shit on you the last time you were there, then maybe you should be a little more bitter and jaded about it, right? And I don't know. So he actually starts cutting something of substance, and as is always, he starts saying something of substance, and he gets interrupted. In this case, he gets interrupted by CM Punk, which leads to, I can't even describe it to people. First off, Punk's best promo since he came back to WWE, and probably one of Roman's best promos as well. I think somebody did point out on social media, and I do kind of agree with it, Roman didn't really reinvent the wheel here. Everything he said to Punk, with the exception of a couple of things, was everything Seth has said to Punk, everything that Drew has said to Punk. Like, about 50% of his content were same, right? But I got to give props where props are due. Roman made me care. He explained the why. I do feel like part of the story here is Punk played him. Punk goaded him into taking a match with him. The assumption that he could beat Drew McIntyre now is like, well, I don't know, dude. You ain't been here in a while. And there was a lot of, timesheet comparing like between the two of them, which is irony in and of itself. Look, it was just entertainment at its finest.
Yeah, but
and I
it was
enjoyed it.
it did get me interested in the match because I'm not a big Roman fan. Yeah, if they continue to build it up in this way, I think maybe they're having Roman be ubiquitous. Is that the right word? Like they're not going to show if he's a heel or face. I think because
Ambiguous.
ambiguous. Thank you. What's ubiquitous mean anyway?
I would have to look it up. I
Me
kind of
too.
know it when I hear it in
Yeah.
context, but
Yes.
not.
No. So you definitely knew that was not in proper context. But anyway,
It was
I
not.
because Roman was playing the face, and then he was kind of playing heel, and then Punk was kind of doing the same. Because I have a text, and I'm like, Punk's being a real dick here. He was
And
like,
I think that's why it works so well and it resonated so well, because not only were they trading barbs a little bit at each other, they were taking other sides of the house, right? Like they were kind of like, all right, this time now I'm the douche. No, now
yeah,
you're the douche.
right.
You know what I mean? Like they kind of flip flopped it back and forth like a nice little tennis match. I do appreciate Roman. Like, wait a minute. I'm out here and you talking crap to Finn Balor. And I was like, all right, that's kind of
That
clever.
was
That
funny.
was nice.
Actually,
You know,
I laughed at that. That was funny.
and I was just like, the best Roman moments are when it's actually the best way to get under his skin is to ignore Roman Reigns. Like he is so egotistical and so in to acknowledge me and myself, and I'm so great. And like it's two of the best moments I've seen was one Punk just being like, I'll get to you. I got to talk shit to Finn Balor. And then like I think it was the Saudi show or something, wherever it was, where it was him and freaking LA Knight. And LA Knight just like he's doing all his stuff at the top of the ramp, throwing the one in the air, and like LA Knight, and his
Yeah,
music goes off, and LA Knight just goes, doo, 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 doesn't even look at him, like doo, 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 down to the ring. I was like, love it. And but it's the best way to get under Roman's skin because it's like, wait a minute, you're not showing me any respect, and it's just, yeah, I'll get to you. I'm going to talk
the
to
look
Finn.
at, like Roman's look on when I remember when Knight did it to Roman. Part of Roman was like, "Did he just do that? Did that just happen?" And the other part of it was like, "How dare he do that?" It left him like
It was
speechless and
it was a
confused at the
nice
same
touch,
time. Yeah,
but I think at the end of this, like Roman's walking out, and Roman's like, "I'm going to take this title," right? And the wry smile that Punk gives him kind of leads me to believe, like, yeah, he got played. Like he played him into going this route. So it's like, yeah. So look, I'm
I
into it.
like that.
I'm cool with it. Look, my answer will remain the same no matter what, which is he going to show up to work? Like, is this the last time we've seen Roman Reigns until WrestleMania now? He's come out, he declared, Band-Aids ripped off. All right, I'm done working for a couple of months. He has,
I hope not.
like, I couldn't believe half the crap I was seeing on social media, though. He's going to declare right before Mania. No, he's not. He had to declare before Chamber. You get pick of the litter. You're not going to let somebody else decide for you. Like, what the hell are you people thinking? But
That's the
again,
problem.
like,
That's the problem. They don't.
but
They
like,
just like
are you going
they
to,
just knee jerk everything. They'll be great sergeant majors and feel great officers if they ever join the
yeah,
military.
no kidding.
And
I've been dealing with the muck parade. Anyways, yeah, like it was a good seg. It was an overall great Raw. The promo battle
really liked
between
this
Roman and Punk. I left that Raw and it was funny because like I kind of bullied Mikey from BC WrestlePod in our text chat. I was like, B minus. Yeah. What are you talking about? He's like, well, there wasn't a lot of wrestling, and I'm like, who gives a shit? I was like, they filled in the blanks on so much on this episode. Like a lot of and they did such a great job of it too, right? And like I said, like there's a reason why this is called the Festivus edition, because that Punk Roman thing was the airing of grievances. And it wasn't just, and Punk was every one of us that has an issue with Roman. Are you going to show up to work? Like, are we doing this? hold up, you took 10 years off. Yeah, that was them. We're talking now, buddy.
You have finally
And he had a good
identified with
point.
yeah, you finally like CM Punk finally got through to you about something. It was no, that was really well. This stuff was all awesome. But
Yeah,
again,
it was so well done.
but the
So
first time
well
in a
done.
long time, I'm actually like kind of excited to see what Roman Reigns does. It's been a while.
I think we're gonna walk a very dangerous slope, but I'm willing to give it time. If I don't want video promos. I want actual in-ring talk your shit. Right? Because here's what's going to happen. If we get the one-off once a month Roman Reigns, it's going to take a lot of heat off of this match real quick. And there's now, because we know it's Punk has to carry the water all the way to Mania now. So either Roman's going to step up and show up,
All right, showing up is one
we're going
thing.
to lose some shine.
Do you think Roman Reigns wrestles between now and WrestleMania? Because
No.
we're about, what, 80 days from WrestleMania or 75 days? I forget what
No.
dates. It's Easter weekend.
I don't.
I'm not talking about Elimination Chamber, but I'm talking about maybe a Saturday night's main event. Because he's got issues with the vision still.
Doesn't matter. He's not going to. You'll be lucky if he shows up in that window. I'm honest. Until I see it, I'm not going to believe it. And the problem is that, like, if that's the thing, then you can't put the title on him.
I don't think Roman's winning the world. I don't think Roman's winning the world.
Ooh, you better talk to his stands. Roman Reigns is here to save wrestling, dude. He's back. Now wrestling matters again. Like, give me a effing break.
I mean, as much as I'm not a fan of Punk being the world title holder,
I don't care. Just show up to work.
Right, but I'm saying I want Punk to retain at WrestleMania just so he can then lose it afterwards. Because you really think they're going to have Roman drop the title, right? If he won it,
if he gets the title, it's going to be a mess.
Yeah,
it's going to be a mess, and all his stands will jump up and down and be like, "Yay, Roman got the title!" And it's going to go really bad, real quick.
Yeah, we're going to be like, "Here we go again."
Yeah. And you can't help but default to that. That's the problem. You can't help but default to that because, like, because it's what we've seen, right? If I got an absentee champion who doesn't wrestle except for PLEs, but he only does every other PLE, you know, and then people are going to throw out stuff like, well, Cody this and Cody that and blah, blah, blah. I don't care. He's there every week. He's earned it, right? And say what I will about Punk, who has not resonated with me until tonight, promo-wise. He's there consistently.
And he defends
now,
the
we
title.
know yeah, relatively speaking. So, like, okay. You know, and I don't want an absentee champion. I don't want a part-time champion. I don't want an absentee champion. I don't care if it's Brock Lesnar. I don't care if it's CM Punk. I don't care if it's LA Knight. I don't care. You either show up to work or I don't want the belt on you. Because I don't want to go through that again. When he had both belts, off was so boring. People were wrestling just to wrestle. That's how bad it was.
And of all titles, I don't want Roman having the World Heavyweight title because to me, the World Heavyweight...
The Workers' Championship?
Yes, 100%. You know, that's
the problem.
That's going to be Braun Breaker's title someday. Like Obafemi, they talk about him being a world champion. I see him with the cinema title, the Undisputed or Universal, whatever you want to call it. The one that Drew has
They're being... I'm surprised Obafemi's on Raw. I'm going to be honest with you because I thought they're for sure.
Is he on Raw? Because he was on Raw. They still said he was a free agent.
No. Did they say he was a free agent? I thought he was signed as a free agent.
No, they said he's a free agent. They said they were saying that after he mutilated the War Raiders that Adam Pearce should be giving him a contract now. So they were like, Cole and Graves were trying to sell us that Obafemi should come to Raw.
We'll see how it plays out, but
I'd put him in SmackDown because the world title.
I think he needs to go to SmackDown.
Yeah,
but I also don't want to see him in the world title picture either.
Well, the thing with Obafemi, he's beaten and destroyed everybody. Now he needs to have somebody. He needs a challenge. He just can't be destroying people because he's going
That's
to be
Gunther's
like,
problem.
right there you go. So they got to be careful with Oba.
They do. And they also got to give you Oba's actually pretty good on the mic too, in fairness. But like they got to be real careful. But like you can't make Braun Breaker sit around for a year waiting for his opportunity just to have Obafemi like roll right into the title picture.
Right.
Like that's
Yeah.
horseshit. And they're, so I don't know. Let him go for a mid card. I think you put Obafemi on SmackDown, you have him wrestle. Oh no, Rusev's on Raw. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do with him too. It'll also be interesting to see some of the other younger talents, but I don't know what you do with SmackDown. They kind of buried Drew and that title all at the same time during their promo battle, though. Like, it was like, I've
I
beaten him
know.
13. I was like, But they did that to Seth, too, when
But
he
you know
had the
what?
world champ.
Drew, if it was a storyline on SmackDown, Drew would be saying the same crap about Punk and
Well,
whoever else.
now the pressure's on Drew. Drew's got to come out hot and defend himself. That's the big thing, right? And like, but in fairness, like I said, we've seen this before. You know, like when Seth won the World Heavyweight Championship, Rollins was talking shit about that. Like, they had to make that belt for you. I had all the belts, that kind of crap. So it is what it is, man. It's going to be a fun SmackDown. It's, awesome. So, but let's wrap it up, Matt. Like,
Yeah.
we had a long weekend. Like we said,
I
folks, if you
I think we did
haven't seen
surprisingly
enough
well
of
on
this,
time. Yeah, I
we
was gonna
did.
say we did good on time. I thought we were gonna go long tonight. We kind of not as much of a. I don't think we made any movie references or really told any jokes, so we weren't the most. But we had a lot of stuff to cover and talk about things.
Well, I think too, I think it's a little bit of wrestling slog right now, right? Like not in a bad way. It's just, we had SmackDown, we rolled into like 4 hours of Royal Rumble
Yeah.
and then guest shots. And now here we are on Tuesday doing our own, and we're just kind of like, whew, you know.
So for our regular listeners, I'm talking about like Ocean and a couple other people that listen. We're debating whether just to go with doing a post-show wrap-up after the PLE rather than do a watch-along. It is so. If anybody's never done a watch-along, it can be pretty tiring, especially when you do a 4.5 hour show because you just don't want to watch Sean and Matt staring at the screen like we got to keep coming up with content. So it's mentally like because you're just so preoccupied multitasking. I was tired by the end of the show. Like
Yeah.
I was done. I was like, as soon as like I hit leave the studio, I was like, whew, like that was a hard day at work.
And I'm spent. But like and a shout
Podcasting's
out.
hard.
Podcasting is hard. But yeah,
No,
shout out to like Nick and
yes,
Nikki. We hopped on their pre-show with them. They came over and they popped in for like the women's match for Nick. Mikey stayed around for about 2 matches and hung out with us too. So it was real exciting. We had a lot of different views. But no, shout out to make sure you're checking out their stuff out there, man. They got some great content going out there. Good news is, after our lessons learned from our first PLE watch along, we have learned how to timeshare PLEs now. So we've already got our hosting out of the way. But no, we love that y'all are with us. Whoever was watching with us this weekend, great. If not, go back to our YouTube channel. You'll see it under our lives. Like I said, great stuff, different perspectives, lots of call-ins, lots of buddies hanging out, watching the matches with us. Great times. So if you've heard stuff that you didn't like here, you should have seen it in real time because it was getting real. But anyways, Matt, tell the folks where to find us.
yes, you can find us, of course, on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X, and also for our long form podcast, you can find us also on Spotify and Apple Podcast on your Apple products. Also, again, thank you for the likes and subscribes. And also make sure you hit the notification button and also share our videos if you would like to too. So please feel free to share our videos and like. We're trying to grow the channel and we appreciate our support that we receive from you all out there. And with that, that's all I have for tonight. Back to you, Sean.
Folks, like Matt said, make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Don't forget our drive for 100. We're trying to get to 100 listener or 100 subscribers right before WrestleMania. That's the cutoff, because that's when, believe it or not, folks, we'll go into season 2 of the If We Had the Pencil podcast, right? And it's going to be a great time. We're working on some fun stuff, and we're probably going to kind of have a season premiere / 1-year anniversary / special episode for kicking off WrestleMania weekend. But we're going to have a lot of good times, and we're going to have a lot of interactions. So it's going to be a fun time. But help us get to 100. So tell all your friends about us. Check us out on the socials. Like Matt said, we're out there all the time. We're dropping content. But for now, everybody, stay warm if you're in that chilly place. And if not, lucky you. But
Lucky
until
me
then,
today, finally. My gosh. Feel normal again.
I'm telling you, man, this mountain weather is crazy. Like, clouds rolled in, the sun got blocked, the temperature dropped like 20 degrees. I've never seen anything like it, but it's all right. I get a 2-week reprieve, and then I come right back here. But anyways, folks, like we said, we love y'all. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Have a good one.
Take care.